My name is Daniel, and for the last year I've been working the overnight shift at a 24-hour storage facility on the edge of town. It's not a glamorous job. I sit in a small office with two bright fluorescent lights, watch security monitors, and do patrols every hour. Most nights are painfully quiet, the kind of quiet where you can hear the hum of the vending machine down the hall. The facility is key code access only after 9 p.m. Customers punch in their code at the gate, the system logs their entry, and a camera captures their plate. It's all very routine. About 3 weeks ago, I noticed something strange. At exactly 2:17 a.m., the gate alarm chimed, signaling someone had entered. I glanced at the system screen to see which unit they were heading to, but no code had registered. No plate number either. I figured it was a glitch. The gate sometimes triggers if the wind hits it just right. But when I pulled up the camera feed, I saw the gate sliding open. There was no car. The driveway beyond it was empty. No headlights, no person walking in, just the gate opening slowly, like it had been activated by someone invisible. It stayed open for about 10 seconds and then closed again. I told myself it had to be a mechanical issue. I even went outside to check. The night air was freezing and still. No footprints in the gravel, no cars idling in the distance, nothing. The next night, it happened again. Same time, 2:17 a.m. This time, I was ready. I had the camera feed up before the alarm even finished chiming. The gate opened. Again, no vehicle. But this time, I saw something else. One of the interior hallway cameras flickered to life. Unit C14. That unit hadn't been rented in months. I knew because I handled the paperwork. It was empty. The camera showed the hallway outside C14. The lights overhead buzzed faintly. And then, slowly, the roll-up door to the unit began to rise. No one was in frame. The door just lifted on its own, inch by inch, until it was halfway open. I felt my stomach drop. I grabbed my flashlight and radio and stepped outside. My footsteps sounded way too loud against the concrete. As I walked toward Building C, I kept checking over my shoulder, half expecting someone to be following me. The hallway leading to C14 was long and narrow. Motion lights snapped on as I stepped inside, one after another, like dominoes of pale yellow light. When I reached the unit, the door was closed. Completely shut. I stood there staring at it, trying to convince myself I hadn't just watched it open on camera. I even touched it to make sure it was real. The metal was cold and solid beneath my hand. I went back to the office and rewound the footage. The clip showed the door rising. But the moment I stepped into the hallway on camera, the footage glitched, static for 3 seconds, then it cut to me standing in front of a closed unit. No sign of it ever being open. I didn't sleep after that shift. The third night was when things escalated. 2:17 a.m. The gate alarm chimed again. This time, instead of the gate camera, I checked the access log first. There was an entry. Unit C14. Access granted. I stared at the screen. That unit didn't have an active tenant. There was no code assigned to it. Still, the system showed someone had entered using a valid code. My heart was pounding so hard I could hear it in my ears. The hallway camera came on by itself. The roll-up door was already open this time, and there was someone standing inside the unit. The camera quality isn't great, especially at night, but I can make out the shape of a person. Tall, thin, facing the back wall. They weren't moving. I leaned closer to the monitor, trying to see their face, but they were just far enough away to remain in shadow. Then, slowly, they turned around. Even through the grainy footage, I could tell something was wrong. Their head tilted too far to one side, like their neck didn't quite work properly, and their arms hung stiffly at unnatural angles. They stepped forward, out of the unit and into the hallway. The lights flickered. And then, all the interior cameras went black. Every single one. The only feed still working was the office camera, showing me sitting at the desk frozen. I didn't want to move. Every instinct told me to stay put and lock the door. But another part of me knew I had to at least make sure no one had actually broken in. I picked up my radio, even though there was no one else on shift, and stepped outside. The walk to Building C felt longer than usual. The entire facility seemed too quiet. No wind, no distant traffic, just silence. When I reached the hallway, the motion lights didn't turn on. I stood at the entrance, shining my flashlight down the corridor. The beam cut through darkness, illuminating closed doors on either side. C-14 was at the very end. Its door was open. I could see inside. The unit wasn't empty anymore. Against the back wall sat a single metal chair, and on that chair was something that made my blood run cold. It was a stack of printed photos. I didn't go inside. I stayed in the hallway and zoomed my flashlight in as far as I could. The photos were of me. Me sitting at my desk. Me walking the perimeter. Me standing in the hallway outside C-14 the night before. All taken from angles that didn't match any of our cameras. I felt like I couldn't breathe. That's when I heard it. The sound of the gate opening behind me. Slow, mechanical, deliberate. I spun around, shining my light back down the corridor, half expecting to see that figure standing there. But the hallway was empty. I ran back to the office. The front gate was wide open. No car, no person, just the empty road beyond it. And on my desk, sitting right on top of the keyboard, was one more photo. It was taken from inside the office, from behind my chair. The timestamp on the corner read 2:17 a.m. Tonight is my last shift. I already put in my notice. It's 2:12 a.m. right now as I'm recording this. I'm watching the clock on the wall, waiting to see if it happens again. I don't know who or what has access to that gate, but I do know one thing. If that alarm chimes at 2:17 a.m., I'm not going to check the cameras this time.